name's Gareth Van Zyl, and I'm the group editor of Golf Business. And it's a pleasure to welcome with us the President of Sri Lanka, President Wickremesinghe. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's an absolute pleasure having you. How have you found the COP28 summit so far?
Well, there are many outstanding issues to be solved. The major issue of loss and damage, there is a fund, but there is no contributions yet. There's a question mark. But I think on some of the other issues, they are coming into agreements or coming very close to agreements, which means by the next COP, you should be able to sort it out.
And I know that you've been involved in a lot of climate initiatives, but just to take a step back and looking at the Sri Lankan economy, obviously last year it was in the headlines, many for the wrong reasons. Your economy had, declined by about 7%. You had inflation running at all-time highs. Earlier this year, you've received an IMF bailout. And I just wanted to get an update from you on how everything is going. I know that inflation has eased and that the economic growth picture is starting to look a lot better. It's still negative growth, but not as bad as what it was last year. Is Sri Lanka turning the corner?
Yes, we expect positive growth next year. May not be too high, but nevertheless, there'll be positive growth. That's the sign we are getting for the last 2 months also. Secondly, we finished the negotiations with the official creditors, with the Paris Club, with India that was working with Paris Club, and with China, and we anticipate that the official creditors committee will come up with a positive statement before end of the year. Then we are left to negotiate with the private creditors.
And obviously you had been Prime Minister several times previously. Now you're the President, which gives you a lot more executive powers. Have you found that has helped you to drive home some more reforms? And if so, why?
Firstly, it helped me to stabilize the country politically. It couldn't have been done otherwise. The whole system has virtually broken down. And in that context of emergency, yes, it has helped me to bring in more reforms and changes. Because once you take over, you can drive it. In 2001, I took the economy was again a negative growth, but we were able to sort it out through the peace process. When the cities, the airports, and the ports were no longer under threat. But this is a real economic problem more than a military issue. So being the president certainly helped me to get things moving.
And you've been dealing with the economic crisis head on, but our world this year has had some of its hottest temperatures. Scientists have said that we've sort of touched over 2 degrees increase on average global temperatures for one of the first times since records began. Obviously, it sparks a lot of concern. There's been the likes of NASA, which has said that we've just had the hottest summer ever on record. How is the climate crisis going to impact Sri Lanka? After you've come out of this economic crisis, how will it directly impact your country?
It is already impacting us. There's rain coming in at the result, heavy rains. Then you find landslips, our infrastructure has gone. It's not only us, many other countries in the tropical areas are going through the same process. And then where is the money? Secondly, droughts can make a difference. We may not have the crops we've been expecting. We can have a shortfall. Again, you have to find money for food. So in many ways, we are affected.
And you've now put some measures on the table in terms of how you propose we can start to change the situation. You've particularly looked at the role that countries in the so-called tropical zone can play. Can you tell us a bit more about the thinking behind that and the rationale behind this?
Well, for the last few years, we've been thinking the same way. Are we going to have a loss and damage fund? What is the developed world responsible for? Just ask the countries to have their national plans according to the approved strategies. Where have we got? We are still stuck where we are. So I think we propose to think out of the box. Because you are having a crisis. If you are not getting results on the present path, then we have to look at something new. So we've suggested a climate justice forum. which we are moving at the next UNEP conference, where there will be constructive discussions. Secondly, is the need for international climate change university, because one, there has to be capacity building. There has to be also a focal point where research goes on. This is more a university for postgraduate research as well as training of officials. It will be something like the East-West Center you find in Hawaii. So that's the second. It will be an international university with stakeholders. The third is the tropical belt, where at the end of the day, you are going to need trillions of dollars. Governments are not going to give trillions of dollars. And for instance, the people in UK are at the moment hard pressed. They are not going to agree to money be given to Niger or for that Sri Lanka. So in that context, how do you handle it? And in any case, the governments can't raise the trillions that are needed. We have to get it from the private markets. We've got to find a way of unlocking it. We've also got to find a way where we can tackle these issues in our country. So we took the tropical belt, which it covers about 44% on the Earth's surface. And by 2030, we will have about 50% of the world's population. If we can invest and protect the forest, the tropical forest, the mangroves, the coral reefs, the swamps, the grassland, that means we are tackling the whole issue of climate change. But it has to be private investment, so either they've got to get carbon credits, or okay, when you save a forest, there are many other things that you can do in the forest. The forest produce, for instance, may be useful. Same with some other areas. You save the coral reefs, outside that you can build your own hotel. So get all that money and slide into the area. That's the only way that you can get commercial investment. Secondly, because the tropical belt can absorb carbon, which means the northern part of the world also gets involved. So it's no longer a question of UK voter being asked to give money to Niger. It's a question of the UK voter deciding it, I'll give this money because there will be certainly the global warming will not affect me, or certainly you won't have such a high temperature in UK. So you get everyone together, but without bringing the private sector and commercializing it, look, there is not going to be any certainly any relief that we expect. The Indian Ocean, Rim-based Ocean, which Sri Lanka is chairman, is also looking at the Indian Ocean, blue economy, and to have a sustainable Indian Ocean. So water absorbs carbon much faster than even the land mass. So if you combine all this, you will have the world's largest carbon sink, and that can take in emissions that come from outside. But it means the whole world gets involved in this effort. Whatever they give from UK helps UK. Whatever they give from France helps France. So we can work it out that way. And then we found that there's a tip of Florida, which is tropical, so that can bring US.
And you've spoken about the importance of having those interactions with private investors. Have you had any discussions here at COP28 perhaps, or further afield with private investors? And what is the appetite to invest in these kinds of projects?
The ones whom I spoke to, and we spoke to, there is appetite for it. For instance, some of the renewable energy people said, okay, the tropical belt is the best for renewable energy, for wind power, okay, and solar power. So we'd like to invest in it in addition to others. I'm sure if we want to speak to the airlines, because I think that they would like to have some system where the emissions are absorbed. There will be sufficient support, I feel, on.
And looking ahead now, obviously after COP ends, everybody goes back home and the world continues as per normal. Do you think that this has to be a redefining COP28 for our aid? We've had this summit every single year, some with mixed responses. Do you think that this is the one where we really need to make a difference, or regret it years later?
Yes, we have to redefine. I think we've got to think out of the box, as I said. Any case, next COP is for Eastern Europe, there were no takers. And there's the usual tug-of-war between the West Europe and Russia. It looks as if it might go to Bonn, but COP after that is going to be in Brazil. So it gives us a 2-year period really to get ready. The next COP anyway is going to be on financing, so we will send a team there, which will ask where are the financing. The only way is to get the private markets to come in.
And talking about Brazil, I believe that you and President Lula had quite a positive interaction, particularly on your proposals around the tropical zone.
Yes, I spoke with him. He has been promoting the Amazon basin, the Congo basin, and Indonesia. But I said, well, let's get together and cover the whole world. And he said, yes, I'm interested. And the 2 foreign ministers will speak with each other. It's good to have him aboard. I've spoken to President Ruto, who's also very, very interested, the president of Ghana. Yes, we can, Maldives, who's coming into it. We can talk together, I think.
And just as a final question, Sri Lanka has been through a lot, but there have been other countries like Portugal, Greece, who have also been through similar challenges and they've come through the other side. Do you think that this is Sri Lanka's moment where it goes through these challenges and re-emerges as a potential powerhouse in the region again?
Well, I had a chat with the Greek Prime Minister. I said we should all get down and exchange notes and give to the others. I had a chat with Pakistan Prime Minister, who's also going through the same issues. No, it's opportune to us also to start a new economy. And we are planning a green economy, a digital economy, and a competitive economy. So there are a lot of scope in that area for us. For instance, I think our power energy, renewable energy will be, we will have about 20 to 30 times our needs. Either we can market to India, also go in for green hydrogen, green ammonia.
Thank you, President Wickremesinghe, for chatting with us today.